Don't tell him yet, my wife whispered into the phone at 2:13 in the morning. I'll leave once Mark gets back. I froze outside our bedroom door, still holding the glass of water I'd gone downstairs to get. Vanessa thought I was asleep. She thought I couldn't hear her quiet laugh. She believed I'd never discover that after 12 years of marriage, she was already planning to leave me, but the next words she spoke shattered me even more. He still thinks I love him. I stood there in complete silence as my entire world fell apart. From the outside, Vanessa and I had built what looked like the perfect life. We lived in a beautiful 2-story house in Denver, owned 2 cars, enjoyed weekend vacations, and hosted dinner parties where she smiled like the perfect wife. I worked as a financial consultant, often putting in 12-hour days, while she managed a successful online fashion business from home. People admired what we had. What they didn't know was that over the past year, Vanessa had slowly become colder, less affectionate, and emotionally distant. I blamed stress. I blamed myself. Now I finally knew the truth. Mark. His name haunted me for days after that phone call. I searched through old photos and social media until I found him. Mark Dalton. Tall, with a sharp jawline, my wife's former college boyfriend, now living in Miami after a failed startup. Vanessa had mentioned him a few times over the years, always casually. He was immature, she once told me. Apparently, immature had become exciting again. I wanted to confront her immediately. I wanted to yell, break something, and throw her out of the house. But then I noticed something unusual. Vanessa had already started moving money. Small transfers at first, then much larger ones. Money from our joint savings was quietly disappearing through hidden transactions. She thought I was too busy to notice. That's when my heartbreak turned into something much colder. Strategy. For the next 3 weeks, I acted as if nothing had changed. Every morning, I kissed her goodbye, asked how her day was going, and even brought home her favorite coffee. Meanwhile, I quietly contacted my lawyer and separated every financial account she didn't know existed. Since most of our assets were legally connected to my business investments, I still had options. Then the night finally came when Mark returned to town. Vanessa seemed nervous all day. She kept checking her makeup, changing outfits, and looking at her phone every 5 minutes. Around 7 p.m., she walked downstairs wearing the red dress I had bought her for our anniversary. "I'm meeting Olivia for dinner," she said quickly. I smiled. "You look beautiful." For just a moment, guilt crossed her face. Then she walked out the door. I waited exactly 10 minutes before getting into my car. The restaurant was an expensive rooftop place downtown. I spotted them immediately through the glass windows. Vanessa was laughing in a way I hadn't seen in years. Mark reached across the table, holding her hand. But I didn't storm inside. No, I had something much better planned. The next morning, Vanessa woke up to complete chaos. Her online store was gone. Every supplier account had been legally frozen through the shared business license she had forgotten I still controlled. Her personal credit cards were disabled because of the joint fraud protection request my lawyer had filed the previous night. The luxury SUV she drove every day was repossessed before noon because it was registered under my company's lease. She rushed into my office, pale and trembling. "What the hell is happening?" I slowly looked up from my laptop, calm and completely in control. The same thing that happens when someone lies to their husband while planning to rob him. Every bit of color disappeared from her face. "You knew?" "I knew before Mark even bought his plane ticket." Vanessa burst into tears, but by then I felt nothing. "You were spying on me?" "No," I replied coldly. "You just got careless." Then came the part she never saw coming. I handed her the divorce papers. Attached to them were printed screenshots, bank records, messages, and every piece of evidence proving that Mark had never truly loved her. He was completely broke. The entire plan had been about money from the very beginning. Mark had been messaging another woman the whole time, bragging that Vanessa would finance his fresh start once the divorce settlement came through. Vanessa's hands trembled as she read the messages. He He said he loved me. I looked at her with a sadness that ran deeper than anger, and I actually did. For the first time since I had met her, Vanessa looked completely shattered. 3 days later, Mark disappeared again. The moment he realized there would be no money, no assets, and no wealthy divorce settlement, he vanished without answering a single one of her calls. Vanessa tried reaching out to me for weeks. After moving into a small apartment across town, she sent long, emotional emails, tearful voicemails, and endless apologies. I never replied. 6 months later, my business had doubled its revenue. I had lost weight, started traveling again, and found myself smiling once more. Then one evening at a charity event, someone asked if I regretted how everything had ended. I took a sip of my drink and smiled. Not anymore. Because sometimes the greatest revenge isn't shouting or fighting, it's allowing people to destroy themselves while you quietly rebuild your life into something stronger than ever.